We are going to begin our committee programs committee meeting today, Thursday, January 6th at 3 o'clock. And we're going to start with our attendance. Yes.
In attendance, we have Councilwoman Brennan, we have Councilman Moskowitz, we have, oh my gosh, I'm losing it today. I'm sorry, Chief Koshan, Julie Lohr, Elena Finnan, Linda O'Brien, and Janet Nguyen. Have I missed anyone? All right, thank you.
Next, we'll go to approval of minutes for the December 1st meeting. Does anyone have any objections?
Nope.
And does not look like anyone logged on for public comment. So we'll go to Councilman Moskowitz. Any items brought to us from the Highway Committee?
Thank you, Lori, for adding this line item to your agenda.
You're welcome.
The Public Works Committee met this morning, and we have no report. I spoke to Ray briefly about this line item, and we anticipate having much more information to share as the warmer weather approaches, but no report for now.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to let you know, should I have something for you, I'll give it to you before your meeting with Ray in the morning.
Okay.
So it can be discussed, because if not, if we discussed it here, it would go another whole month.
It'll go a month, right?
So what I'll do is I'll keep you in the loop in the morning.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll go to our community programs items with Lori Peretti, starting with the January and February events.
Okay, so this is a semi-slow but kind of busy month. It's starting with our West Mountain Ski Club. It runs Friday evenings from January 7th to February 11th for the high school age children. The program is full with 68 skiers and 39 will be riding the bus, which leaves Town Hall here at 3:30. And just to give you both a little bit of history, we started this program in 2011 when we were asked by the high school to pick up the program because they no longer wanted to do it. And ever since then, it has snowballed, correct? Yeah. It gets larger and larger. Yeah.
Pun intended.
We actually have middle schoolers enrolled this year too, because the middle school program both lost their program because they took the year off last year because of COVID and Jiminy, and then they were taken off the list and put now down at the bottom, so they're on a waiting list. So there's no middle school ski program this year for either middle school. So a lot of them kind of bumped on to ours, but we don't allow them to ride our bus.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, she's done anyways.
Okay.
Going forward, Julie, you just have to use a microphone.
Oh.
Okay. All right. And we have a facilities use manual update. And what we decided to do, so we were fair and transparent and had everything in writing. We are going to devise, and this is kind of a sample of what it's going to look like, because I found another one, a facility use manual that will lay out in a grid format all of the rentals for fields, for pavilions, for anything that we rent out with a fee structure. So it's not ambiguous, and should anyone decide they want to rent something, we'll know right there how much it costs. And we're also going to have the application in there. So what my goal is to have this done by, when did I want to have it done? Like late February for everyone, for the board to look at. We can tweak it and then hopefully get it in March for the resolution in prime time for registration season.
Awesome.
So it's going to be what I decided to do. I'm going to start small with the bare basics, and then we can always add to it later. I didn't want to make it too big of a project.
You're going to keep some applications online?
Absolutely. Oh, yes, absolutely. All right. And for our summer planning update, I am currently working on a blanket application for any positions that will be available for summer employment. That means lifeguards, pool staff, playground staff, rec leaders, anyone that we might need. I'd like to have one application that fits the bill. So that should be done shortly. And that will be posted on the website, I'm saying the beginning of March.
So it'll be like a universal application for the summer
Absolutely.
temporary employment.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yep. And then, let's see, independent contractors. So our independent contractors are the ones that run the bulk of our summer programs. They're the ones that do tennis and golf and lacrosse. So I've been reaching out to them and asking them if they're willing to run programs again this year, and if they are, what dates work for them, and I'm starting to work on the summer program book, which opens on April 1st. It's a
Wow.
big day in town on April 1st. And as far as resolutions, I have senior fitness instructors and rec leaders for this coming year. And those are people that work parties at the community center or just help Julie with ski club or anything that we may need. So if that should change, Elena, I'll let you know, but I think that's all we're going to need. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Next, we have our senior programs updates with Linda O'Brien.
All right, guys. Currently, I'm going to do a shout out to Edie and thank her because she's picked up where Lisa left off, and she's been doing our email blasts for us, which are crucial to us getting the word out, detailed out to our people and communicating. So thank you to her for that. Our Alzheimer's support group resumes in March for the next couple of months. They're still trying to get themselves organized and probably waiting till some of the craziness simmers down, but we expect to have them back in the house in March. We have a new class. It's a gentle flow yoga, and it begins Wednesday evening, the end of this month, with Susan Manchester. So we will be welcoming her, and she will be there throughout February. We continue to be very successful and have, to be very well received with our hybrid exercise offerings. So people they have a choice. They can either come in for most classes anyways, and they can either do them in person in the upper level, or they can do them via Zoom. And again, very, very popular and in demand. Our Mahjong is going very well. A lot of people very interested in that, and some fun people that have joined and know how to play very well. We also have a new book club, and that continues to grow. And then I also have, I understand that there might have been some questions, or if you want me to kind of generally outline what we've been talking about as far as Nisky at home, I can do that. It hasn't even gone into its test phase yet, but it is something that we've been talking about. It's a two-pronged program that involves partnership with the school, their honors groups, John Mofka. It's also involves community volunteers. A lot of times it's people who've retired and they're looking to give back. So we have adult volunteers also, and that's the second prong of it. And that, with the Nisky Senior Center, we're kind of trying to coordinate that and put something into place so that we can answer questions and calls and needs from our seniors. This kind of came to fruition back just, around the time that COVID became an issue and people were really shut in and looking for help and they didn't know who to call. And so I was looking at Jessica's Nisky Attic, and I kept thinking there's got to be something here. So it's a really good model. There's got to be some way that we could kind of parlay that into this. So that's kind of how it all started. And I believe right now we're working on the approval of some forms, and these forms will reside along with our law enforcement group, so that they'll be aware of what we're doing. If it involves kids, we've talked about making sure that there's two kids that go in to make contact with the senior instead of just one, at least until they get comfortable or they build a rapport or relationship. And then adult volunteers, they still fill out the same paperwork, but then the constraints might not be as great as with the kids. So that's some of what we're talking about. One of the things, like I said, I would like to see this tested out. And then the other thing is we do need to plan on our course of action over the summer when school is on break, so on and so forth. So that's a little bit of what we've been working on.
Thank you, Linda.
Sure.
I do have a question, just to go back to before the book club. I couldn't quite hear you. You mentioned another fun program, but I couldn't hear.
Is it Mahjong?
Yeah, what is that?
Was it the Mahjong? Mahjong is a card game. It's a very old card game.
Oh,
And we have people that come and play a lot of different games, a lot of different types of cards. We have a couple of different bridge groups, but there's another group. Actually, we have a couple of them that play mahjong specifically, and they come in and we have some women that have been playing it. This one woman, she's dynamite, and her mom taught her. And they come in and she plays in several different groups, and one of the groups is the one here with us. And it's just a really interesting game. It's a fun game. Edie actually had to teach her. She taught herself so that she could then run teaching groups at night. And then every once in a while, just to keep her hand in, because it's one of those things where you use it or lose it, she'll play around just to make sure that, we all know what we're doing.
that's very cool.
So-
Thank you.
Yeah, it is very cool. A really nice group of people too.
Maybe we could recruit her for one of our summer programs.
Yeah, you never know.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions about the senior program?
I do. Hi, Linda. It's Elena. How are you?
Hi, Elena. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So I was hoping you can get me up to speed kind of as to the Nisky at Home program and how it would operate, such as, how does a senior get to sign up for it? How do they get paired with somebody? What's the protocol? Who do they check in with? Is it check in every day each time they go in, or how does the operational part
Well,
of
and
it
that's
work?
the thing is because this thing is it's so brand new, and we don't even really know what that animal looks like until we get that first phone call. So it would be a senior they could do it one of two ways. They could call into us like they typically do, and then we could go in through Facebook and kind of trigger the request that way. And I think ideally we were thinking that if we that's where the school kids come in. That's where that honors group is kind of helpful because they know. They're pretty savvy with this stuff and they know how to use it, and this is not a new model for them. And so the requests can come in through Facebook, whether we push them from the senior center or whether they might, you have a senior who's savvy enough, or even the child of a senior who's savvy enough to kind of like message, Nisky at Home. And then that would go in, and then it would be paired, depending on what the request is. It could be something that's like on a weekly basis, or just a one-off. I need help shoveling my walk or something like that. And then depending on that, they will then get paired up with whomever volunteers. I mean, you have to have a base of kids that are interested in doing it, and or we also have adults that come to us and say, hey, we'd love to volunteer, but we don't know, how to go about it or what to do. So we probably put together a little file of those names and numbers for adults as well, adult volunteers as well. They would all have to fill out the same paperwork, and I believe that's the paperwork that's been kind of funneled to you already.
Yes, I've reviewed that, and I will actually be reaching out tomorrow if that works for you to kind of go over some things and get that finalized. But I just wanted to make sure I
Okay.
had an understanding procedurally and operationally how that will work. Jess, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
add to that.
and it's
So
our impression that those that once, and this, I'm not clear, I can't draw the actual flow chart yet, but once the paperwork is filled out for either the kids or the adult volunteers, that would be somehow captured and available to law enforcement, to MPD. And the only time that because they're kids, we were thinking that if they were kids, and let's say they just, somebody needed them to go in and help them hang a curtain rod or something, or like go change the litter box, they would at least go with a partner, another kid, so that it's not just one single kid walking into a home by themselves. So that protects the senior, protects the kids. It kind of makes it a little bit less awkward, probably initially, until they get comfortable or familiar, and so on and so forth. So
I could jump into Linda. So flow chart wise, yes, I can't say the whole flow chart in my head, but we have a form for the kids to fill out. What are you willing to
Yeah.
do? What are you uncomfortable doing? Do you have allergies? Do you want to do as needed? Do you want an ongoing senior to be partnered with? And then the seniors have their own paper to fill out, which says like what they kind of were looking for. Do I need the newspaper read once a week? Do I need my cat box changed every other week? Do I need help checking something every week, whatever it is. And then the club advisor that volunteered is the Honor Society Club. They volunteered to kind of like test this out for us. So they're going to keep their student paperwork on file with the school. Our senior center will keep the senior paperwork. And the police department will have a digital file with everything on it, just to kind of make everyone see that it's a secure, or, once legal looks at it. And we're also, the kids' form will have parent permission. So
So thank you.
Yes,
That
so-
was one of the questions that I had, was to make sure that they had parental permission. So am I understanding it correctly that there is somebody with the school that's serving in an advisory capacity and kind of like a liaison between the senior center and the school and the students?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we have John Moskoff and of course Jessica.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're all set? All right.
I think so.
All right. So the next meeting will be the first Thursday of the month at 3 o'clock. Which will be February 3rd.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
We're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.